Yo!
What's up?
Hey, people. We're coming to you live again on Sunday night. Me and Mikey here, because guess who's not here? Chris bailed
Captain
on
Hughes.
us. Captain Hughes bailed on us tonight. He had something better to do. Something way better to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine what's better to do than to hang out with the two of us, but, you know, I can kind of understand his position. So
He's got to pull through, man. Come on.
I don't blame him. You know,
I was on here in vacation time.
I mean, I'm not going to be here next week, so, you know, these things happen sometimes.
You got to keep that to yourself.
Why? Nobody going to show up if I'm not here? Is that what the deal is?
I'll hold the fort down, man. I'll hold it down.
I know you will.
I just don't know how to press the buttons. So, you know.
Me neither, man. I'm completely guessing on this. Wonder how many people we have watching us tonight. Oh, look, hey, we got two people on Facebook, one person on YouTube.
Nice. I'll take it.
All the viewers tonight. All the viewers. What's up out there, people?
That's our wives. There's two people watching.
Oh man, you know what we forgot to do?
What's
that?
Hey
everybody, this is welcome back to the HVAC Grapevine. My name is Eric Kaiser. With me over there is Michael Cianfrocco, the one and the only.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. What are we talking about tonight, Mike?
I don't know, man. Chris said he was getting a little too busy today, so I figured we just shoot the shit.
He was busy, so we're just talking. Just you and me hanging out, and several of our favorite friends.
Yeah, man.
Out here.
Just Ed in the background.
Ed is all. I mean, Ed's like always with us, right? You got Ed hanging out with you. I got Ed hanging out with me.
That's it.
You know what? So, what have you been up to,
dude? It's been slowing down a little bit, man. Florida's getting cooler.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I shot you guys a screenshot, man. It was dry here earlier. I was shocked.
Yeah, man. That was crazy. Like you shot this screenshot.
Yeah. What did I say?
Where's that at? I got it right here.
So that's just one town south of me. So what did I shoot to you? Yeah, it was right around. What time is it? 5 o'clock. Right. So I'm driving. I'm with my wife. Got the little one in the back, right?
Yeah.
And the wife's like, "What are you doing? Get off your phone." I was like, "Listen, you know, it's not. I'm not checking Facebook or anything. This is, kind of AC important." And she's like, "I don't care." I was like, "Listen, this is a rare event in Florida. Yeah. It's dry." I was like, "You don't get it." What we had 34% humidity.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, what?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't know what to do with that in Florida. I don't think anybody knows what to do with that.
Dude, I felt sick. I was
really?
like, my nose is dry. I don't know what to do with myself. I was like, I'm not sweating. This is not right. So I'm telling her, and she's like, I don't get it. You guys nerd out on this stuff too much. I was like, this is bread and butter,
I'm like, well, can't really argue with her at that.
Yeah, we go a little overboard.
We do nerd out a little bit, but yeah, I mean, like that's some crazy stuff right there. It's 34% RH, 50-degree dew point, and
wow,
whatever 81 degrees in Central Florida.
Yeah, it felt it was like, it's weird. I was like, we're sitting there, kids playing at the playground. I'm like, wow, I'm not sweating. It's bizarre.
You are sweating. The thing is, you are sweating though. It's just evaporating.
That's what I told her. I was like, it's going to evaporate. And she's like, I don't get it.
And it looks like, I mean, that thing, it says it's going down to 68 degrees at 10 p.m. tonight. Like, that's ridiculous for you guys.
Yeah, it's weird. It goes, it's really weird. It got worse. We got home and I grabbed both of my Yoo-Hoo monitors. the IAQ monitors, and I threw them both outside. I was like, all right, it's time to calibrate these things and see if the CO2, everything calibrates the same, and match them up, put them right next to each other, and carbon monoxide leveled off at 400. I was like, all right, they're good, and the humidity did creep up tonight, so, and just wanted to make sure humidity was matching on both monitors as well.
Nice.
But when I brought it out there, man, it was dry. I was shocked.
Well, it should creep up when it cools down, but the dew point's probably going to stay about the same.
Yeah, let me check it now. Like
we were talking about this earlier, right? And he's like, "Well, the dew point will stay the same as long as you don't get a weather front coming, a pressure front coming through. The dew point will stay typically about the same.
Okay,
but your RH is going to go up because your temperature goes down.
It's gonna okay. All right, let's see where we're at now. Let's see. Humidity is 70%. Dew point's around. Yeah, it's close. It's like 58.
So your dew point has actually gone up a little bit then.
Yeah, humidity is 70%.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So you may have had a little bit of a front come through.
Yeah, temperature is it went down 68. Jeez. It was just like, dude, I checked it like 10 minutes ago. It was like 77.
Wow. Look at
that. Which is, we don't experience temperature swings too much here.
Enjoy it while you got it, brother. Enjoy it while you got it, man.
Dude, let me tell you, man, like it's slowed down a little bit. I was like, wow, I can get a couple of these filters out that are just sitting by the door. I order some filters on Amazon for some people, just get some stuff situated. Maybe I can actually clean out my van.
Whew. Clean out your van.
Oh, man.
What nonsense is that?
Called my buddy up. I was like, we made it, man. Another summer. We made it. I think it was like 6 days ago. I was like, we made it.
Nice. Well, hey, I got something I want to show everybody here tonight.
Yeah, man.
So I was playing around with some load calculations here. And I started doing some experimenting. And I mean, there's probably a lot of our listeners that might already know this, might have already played around with this. But for those that haven't really started diving into load calculations or really digging in and playing with them, because load calculations are neat to play with, in that I like to make a base load calculation and then I'll change something and see what happens. So you just duplicate the original file and then you change something and you're like, okay, I'm going to see what happens if I change this. Like, I'm going to change the house leakage, or I'm going to change the insulation in the attic. So
I like messing with duct leakage a little bit too, just to see where I was at.
Yeah, you can mess with duct leakage. You can mess with, but the most important thing to me when I do this is change one thing at a time. Don't go massively changing things, and make a note of what you changed. Like, keep a log of, and name the file something unique. You can make a number, you can, however you want to do.
Yeah, I like to start off with the original load, just in case like the software kind of gets funky.
Yeah.
I like to write it down just like on a pen and pad and just start there.
Yeah, start your base load with, if you're working with an existing house, which a lot of us are, just start with that base as built as it exists right now.
Because you never know what you're going to catch in there. Sometimes, like, you're kind of messing around with stuff. I've done this.
Yeah.
You go, oh, there's a squirrel, and I go, let me check, see how many people we have in the house. Maybe, you might catch something like that, like people, or what's a good one? I know Cool Calc will really stick me with like a slab insulation value when I don't have any down here. Nobody has slab insulation values.
Yeah.
But it's like default. So stuff like that. Sorry to get off on the tangent there.
Let's see. Ivy Crypto wants to know, what software are you all using? I personally use Quick Model.
Quick Model. Yep. Yeah. And Cool Calc for like like a basic.
I tried Cool Calc, and to me it's not really any better than a lot of the other ones from I once I got into Quick Model, I've used a lot of the other two-dimensional or just the numerical entry model load calculation software. And man, being able to look at that in 3D and see things in 3D it was a game changer for my brain. So
It's
my brain,
great. It
my
is.
brain works better on that 3-dimensional. So
And I'm a visual learner too. So it's like, okay, I got an attic in there and it looks right. It's like I don't have to go into like the numerical values.
right.
It's like, oh, I got a roof.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So to me, that just works better for my brain. I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there. Find what works for you.
Yeah, I can't agree more, man.
Yeah, Stephen Laverne, the RightSoft does JS&D. Quick Model does JNS. It's certified. Now it uses the manual decalculations, but it's not ACA certified for it. If you have to have certified results, then probably stick with RightSoft, because not a lot of the other stuff does or is certified for D. But I know that Quick Model does use the D calculations to size its ductwork and provide those values. So it all depends on what you want to do. A lot of them will let you trial things and just try it out to see how you like it. Spend some time on it.
Right.
Whatever.
RightSoft is like the first kid on the block.
Yeah, they're probably the early one. Ivy, what if you got a lot of weird stuff? Again, that's where I found that 3D model to really help me out, because I can visually click on different components, see them, and make a change to a specific component. Say, I want to change the insulation in this or that, or if you got weird shapes. To me, it worked better in my brain. So, but anyways, I want to show you guys something. When I was just playing around with this. Okay, yeah, Michael House says Elite does them all too. So this was the results. Whoops, I'm kind of giving things away here. All right, so pay no attention to what you saw at first. But anyway, so these are the outputs of two different load calculations. Happens to be my own house, 1,832 square feet. And I literally changed one thing between these two loads. And you'll notice the one on the left, heat loss 48,000. The one on the right, 38.8 for heat loss.
That's impressive, man. That's under a 2-ton. Nice.
Yeah. And so 18,711 total BTUs for summer, 13,594. That's the differential there between the two. So, and this was literally changing one thing. And if you look at these two pie charts over here, it's pretty
That's so funny.
What is that?
I was just looking at that. I was like, those are completely different.
Yeah. So the infiltration, and you can see it in the numbers when you look down the load component.
Yeah,
what is the load component here?
Man, that's a big piece of the pie.
Right.
Like Trivia Pursuit.
So everything stays the same except for the infiltration. Infiltration in the wintertime, and keep in mind, it's blurry. Oh man, that's a bummer.
Yeah, what was clearer before? Try to take it down, put it back up. Just
I wonder if I do.
Yeah.
What can I do? Let's see. That does not help it. Let's see if I can zoom in on that. There we go. Is that better?
Yeah, that's well on my end.
Okay, so here was one extreme. Okay, and you can see I got 179 CFM of infiltration for heating. I got 134 CFM for cooling. Now keep in mind,
it's more in the winter because of the TD outside, right?
Correct. The TD, the temperature differential between indoors and outdoors, is greater. So the better, the greater the temperature differential,
like
you get a higher stack effect because it creates a higher pressure differential. So you get more infiltration.
Okay.
If you've ever messed around with the C-Stack program from the Energy Conservatory, you can see that happen in there.
Gotcha.
Now let's go over to the other one, the one that has the lower values on it. So there's your heat loss of 38.8, 13.6, we'll say for heat gain.
Now
And,
talk to me and what roundabout. What do you think like CFM at 50 is with the one on the left and the right?
I don't remember what the numbers are.
Okay.
Okay, because and we're going to get into that in a minute. So what we're talking about here, this went from 179 CFM of infiltration
Yeah, it's
to
big.
45 CFM of infiltration. Now, keep in mind, this is not a year-round infiltration value because this infiltration value is going to change with the outdoor temperature. So it's going to be less when the weather's mild.
Right. So this snapshot right there for the winter is when it's at its peak, right?
Yeah, that's at your peak design. That's what peak design is.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
And then
So
and
same at the
what's
same
your summer
conditions.
peak? Like 90 over there?
93, I think,
Dude, it's higher than Florida
or
where I'm at.
91, maybe
Yeah,
90, maybe 91. I don't remember.
that's where I'm at,
I just
91. Yeah.
dropped the manual J8 values in there and run with it.
Yeah. Well, I see it a lot because I got kind of looked over a couple of low counts for some people.
So yeah, you can see how I've got my ventilation. I've got a slight positive on the house, 50
Okay.
CFM exhaust, 73 CFM of supply.
I never asked you, man. What are you running for ventilation? Are you just like a bath fan?
This is plans in the future. Right now, I got bath fans and a fresh air intake on the return is all I've got.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
which is probably
that's
pretty
better
much
than what I got, bro.
Probably pretty much what I'm going to stay with in the long run.
Big fat goose egg.
I have it calculated as this, but things are going to change because I got a dehumidifier. Stuff's going to come in through the dehumidifier, things like that.
But I'm ready to do that Santa Fe soon, man.
I'm just playing around with stuff here,
Yeah.
But you look at the cooling infiltration, we went from 134 to 16 CFM at design conditions.
And then remind me, so that's just the automatic, you're clicking tight.
Yep. So literally that's exactly correct. That's what I did on these two. This is ACA loose and this is ACA tight. Manual J loose versus manual J tight. That's the only thing that changed between the left and the right. All right. So let's dig into a couple other things here. Oh, well, it would help if I don't click on it and I can actually do what I'm supposed to be doing. So we dig into a couple more things, right? We're talking about.
Sorry, bro.
No, you're good.
That hamster's killing me on this. He's got that wheel.
Oh man, on the hamster wheel,
right, dude.
So we go from 48,000 to 38.8. That's a little over 9,000 BTUs, right?
Okay,
and if you do that in a percentage, now keep in mind when somebody talks about a percentage, always ask them, unless they specify, a percentage of what? Because if you're going to calculate a percentage, you have to know a percentage of what? Because otherwise, it's just bogus. I can pull percentages out of my behind all day long. Right? Because
and you can actually pull infiltration loss out of your behind too. Because I had a low calc over the week, man. It was a beauty.
Okay, so and I'm going to illustrate this to you. I want to illustrate this right here. Okay, look at this right here. 18,847. Okay, this is my wall total. Same square foot, same BTUs. 18,487. Wall total.
Okay, there
2555. 18,487. Right here, it's 38.5%.
Mm-hmm.
Over here, it's 47.6%.
Wow.
Right? But it's the same BTU value. No, it's literally the same BTU value.
Okay.
Same house, but it's the exact same BTU value of the same house. But because my total changed, the percentage changed.
Percentage change, right. Yep.
So this is why we have to ask anytime, I don't care what somebody says, percentage, you have to say percentage of what?
Right.
All right. If they just
that's a big difference, man. I totally agree with you.
It's a major difference. Okay. Because now I know that if, over here, I'd say my walls are a big part of my load. I look at this and I say my walls are now a huge part of my load.
Yeah, that's what I would say. It's almost like 50%. It's crazy.
I might have something wrong in my load calculation here.
Dude, that's
I may have entered bad data.
that's what I would say. Yeah.
One reason when you look at this at the end of a load calculation
Yeah.
and you say,
It's a good visual.
okay,
Yeah.
let's kind of go back and review and make sure that I did everything properly. This is one way we can do that is with
Yeah.
these pie charts. And if we see something that's way big or way small, like my walls are a huge percentage, my ceilings are very, very little. And that's kind of weird in a load calculation.
It is. It really is. Let me
Now,
tell you, man.
I can tell you why part of this is because part of this I have in part of my house, and part of this is an existing house, and I haven't calculated some insulation that I'm adding into part of my house, but part of my house I can't insulate, and it is literally uninsulated concrete block walls. And I just can't insulate it because of the wall covering that's on there currently on the inside. And I'm, not tearing all the siding and everything off. They built a concrete block house and they put wall covering on the inside, siding on the outside, and it's just going to be the way it is for right now.
Gotcha.
If I change something in the future, then I change it, but that's a long ways down the road if I do anything.
Jeez, that reminds me. I used to work with this guy before I did HVAC, man. I used to work for this company. We would put fiberglass board on the inside of the walls in everybody's basements.
Mm-hmm.
Forgot what that was called. It's like Owens Corning, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. So what I wanted to point out here, let me zoom in so it's a little clearer there, right? Between this to this, that's about a 19% reduction of the higher value of 48,000. So just by tightening that house up a considerable amount, I can reduce that load by 19%. That goes from a 3-ton, or a 4-ton rather, I could probably handle this.
Yeah.
With a very easily with like a 3.5-ton, or I'm sorry, a 3-ton unit, especially if it's an inverter unit. A lot of them will put out a little higher range, right?
My favorite is when I'm talking to a builder, they go, well, you don't want to get it too tight, right?
Well, yeah. They don't want to get it too tight because they don't know what they're talking about.
I'm like, come on.
And it same story down here, but I want to show something else down here in cooling. Okay. We're looking at total load.
Keep rocking. What you got?
18.7 to, we're going to say 13.6. Not a huge BTU reduction, right? But when you calculate the percentage of that reduction, it comes out to like 27%. I
don't know. That's pretty damn good, man.
So when you look at the BTU reduction, it's not huge. But look down here at this number, okay? I got sensible, right? I got sensible to late, and I went from 12 to 10.4.
10. Okay.
So what, 1,800 BTUs, right?
Mm-hmm.
6,500 to 3,100. I cut my latent BTUs by more than half.
Damn. That is wild, man. And that's tight to loose.
Half from going from loose to tight. Loose is on the left, tight is on the right.
This is why I like doing load calcs with no blower door. Because I just like to live on the edge of life, you know? I like to just risk it all.
Just risk it all. You know, and this is what happens.
I just get really good insurance with my business. And
there you go.
I just wing it, you know?
Yeah, just wing it. Just throw something.
No blower doors.
Throw something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And plus, I like, you know, all the people at the courthouse are nice. So.
Yeah.
No blower doors.
There you go. House says just sell a DHU. Then you don't have to do all this stuff.
Like Oprah Winfrey, the DHUs. Everybody gets a DHU.
the
And some
dehumidifier for you
and
and for you.
yeah,
And
and some land in Maui.
there you go. All right. So the point to showing you that was right that a loose house, okay, sensible heat factor of 0.65. Now, what equipment runs at 0.65?
Right. Exactly.
Virtually none today, right? And a tight house in this condition is going to run at a 0.77.
Perfect.
Right. So that's a lot more realistic.
Yeah. Yeah. R22 unit on the loose house. Maybe we go on Craigslist.
Maybe. Yeah, you never know.
Craigslist still alive?
I don't know. Haven't been on
the show.
But again, the same thing. If you're looking at it here, right? In my now, if you look in this, say right here, summer calculations, walls 20.5%. Walls are the exact same BTU, 3839, as they are over here, 3839, but they go from 20.5% to 28.2%. You gotta know what your starting point is on a percentage.
Yeah.
You have to. Otherwise,
what do you got for where's your ductwork? Attic? Is it in the
it's all in conditioned space.
Conditioned space. You lucky bum.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, I'm so jealous.
Yep. I either have conditioned basement or conditioned crawl.
I got mine in a sweaty attic.
It only sweats when you're up there.
That's right. I mean mug all my ducks. You guys straighten out when I get up here.
So that was just a little something I was going through here recently, just playing around.
It's really cool,
man. Getting these, I was getting these for a presentation, but that was something I wanted to show. It was just like, hey, this is really cool to me.
Are you going to possibly do something this winter?
As far as what? I mean, I'm going to do a lot of things this winter.
What you got planned going on, man?
Well, I mean,
I'm not going to hold you to it or anything because I was going to do so much. I had so much planned, and none of it got done.
You mean like do something on my HVAC system?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, maybe. I got working on my brother-in-law's house right now, and whenever I get spare time, so that's been my focus on HVAC. But
nice. I mean, the time to do a load calc is always when it's cooling, man. Because let me tell you, making these really good details and getting all your R values done, you don't want to do this when the AC's half dead.
Well, I mean, yeah, you don't want to. You kind of want to do that when it's not broken is when you want to run this. You can run it in cooling season or heating season or whatever. You just don't want to do it when it's broken. Ideally, you want to talk to your customer. I would want to talk to my customer and have this done. This is why I'm doing a lot of playing around. And what I've done with this is I'll throw something in there and just see how big of a difference it makes. What's the biggest bang for my buck? Is air sealing going to be a really good idea? Is insulation going to be a really good idea? Is maybe insulation in the attic? Maybe insulation on the walls? What's going to be the biggest bang for my buck? And you look at that breakdown and you can see that, I can probably do something on the walls and make a big difference. So I am doing some insulation in the walls, and I've got to go back in and add that into a couple of the walls. Yeah, Mike, Mike Barnes says run the same house and do these different scenarios, load changes. That's exactly what this was, Mike.
We got Burnsy in there? Oh, what's up, Burnsy?
Yeah. So, that's exactly what this was. I just ran 2 different loads, and the only thing I changed was the infiltration rate. So
we're homeowners too, we're not just HVAC guys, we're homeowners.
That's right. I'm a homeowner.
You want to get the best, the best bang for your buck on like what you're doing. Like you said, man, you don't want to throw a bunch of insulation up in an attic where, like, I think I ran these in my house. Like if I did an R30, which I have, versus an R40, it ain't worth the squeeze, man.
Yeah. That's honestly when you I think it's about like between R20 and 25, like
Right.
it really starts to tail off how much extra it's going to give you.
Yeah, I did a load for a garage unit, right? And I told the homeowner, I was like, currently you have nothing, right? So I was like, I ran a load with it with nothing. Uh, our value for the attic was sheetrock, and I was like, all right, I think R10 and R20. So just sheetrock was like a 2 ton, and as soon as I went to like a 10, it was like a ton and a half, and then like an R30 was minimal. It was
Yeah.
close
Yeah.
from
R10 to
yeah.
R20, R10, 0 to 10 is a big jump.
That's the jump.
10
Yeah.
to 20 is a slightly smaller jump, but it's
Yeah.
still a good size jump. And 20 to
Yeah.
30 is a lot
Yeah.
smaller differential.
And that's how, it's funny because I didn't expect to learn something big that day, but just like what you're doing, I was playing with the calcs.
Yeah, and that's a cool thing. Like a lot of times, if you get some time, sit down, start experimenting, and say, "Hey, what's going on here?
Yeah.
What do we got? What can we change? What?"
You got the brain thinking, man. Like doing quick model, just do like a 20, like a real square Monopoly house. Just do like a 20-foot by 20-foot, 10-foot ceiling, and then just jack it up to like 2-story. Just mess with infiltration or just changing like those infiltration. It's cool experiment. What really changes it?
Yeah.
And from what I've heard, I haven't messed with it. I guess I have, because in quick model you could change the orientation of the house, which way it faces.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big one.
Well, and you can go in there and do things like change what the overhangs are on the windows.
That's
right?
right.
Change the overhangs and see what difference and that can make a big difference in some areas. Now, you got to be careful because in some areas that may raise your cooling, but not much because of the position of the sun over the house.
Okay.
But it's probably not going to change the heating much because your peak heating is during the nighttime.
Okay.
Right? Now it will offset some of the heating maybe during the daytime, but our load calculation isn't going to show that because our load calculation is only happening at peak load.
Peak load. That's right.
Which is you got to get into energy modeling software to start looking at daytime versus nighttime and total energy usage to take all that into account.
Okay. Energy modeling software will help you.
Yeah. And I know as far as like using that stuff, I know very little. That's not a forte I have. So
yeah, I haven't jumped down that rabbit hole either, man.
Yeah.
Yep. That's like a lot of the ResNet and stuff like that. I think gets deeper into it.
Yeah, I mean, there's depending on what you're doing, there's a lot of places out there that do energy modeling, but I just haven't jumped down that rabbit hole and probably never will as far as doing any energy modeling myself.
I'm still trying to convince these people to do a manual J.
Well, but keep in mind, like manual J is just the beginning.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely, man.
You still got to do manual S and maybe manual D afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, man.
If you're going to do a manual J, you have to do a manual S to select the equipment. That's the next step. D, if you're doing duct work, yeah, you might need to do D. But if you're not doing duct work, if you're just a like for like change out, J and S.
Yeah, a friend of mine said he had a gentleman that he knew, and he did commercial construction, and he's building a house for himself.
Yeah.
So he called up my buddy. He owns an HVAC company. He's like, "Yeah, I'm just trying to help this guy out." And new construction home, and he hired a guy to do a load calc, and he goes, something's kind of like a little off. And if he says that, I'm like, all right, you got to shoot this, email this to me. So I get a hold of it real quick on my iPhone, and I go, yeah, man, something seems off. The guy had a carrier air handler with a train condenser, He had windows that weren't even code for our area for construction. So I was like, yeah, we're gonna have to take a look at this, man. His the friction rate worksheet for the duct design.
Yeah.
I shot it over to Chris, dude. It was the friction rate worksheet was 0 on everything for supply grills for A-coil.
Oh, that's always good. That's the magic Bluetooth ducts, right?
They were wireless ducts, bro.
Wireless ducts.
And like everything down the line, I was like, and I'm showing the guy, I'm like, dude, look, I mean, he's got nothing for friction loss. He doesn't even have the A-coil. I was like, what's going on, man? I was like, dude, don't touch this. He said, well, I got our duct guy working on a duct layout. I go, no, he paid. This builder guy paid him to do a duct design, and it looked like somebody scribbled on a piece of paper with crayons. You know, like, you know, the red and the blue. It was like,
Dude,
this is ridiculous.
I've seen some smart people drawing with crayons.
Oh, that's a good point. I take it back. Sorry, Jenry.
Don't be making fun of the crayons now. I think I got a book up here somewhere.
Dude, that's all I could find at the time. I think it was Animal House number 1 or 2.
Yeah, I don't know.
We were in the house. You know how they give you that little care package? And Jen, I think it was Jenry. Was it? Who was it? It was Jenry and Chris. Yeah, they were arguing over something. I go, here's some crayons.
Yeah, see, right here. So that's Russ King's book.
Yeah.
Introduction to Residential HVAC Systems, right?
Right there. Yeah.
Orange crayon, baby.
Stay cool, my friend.
Shout out to Russ King.
Oh man. I got to get my book signed over here, man. I got to bring it to Symposium.
There you go. Yeah.
It weighs 15 pounds, so I don't know. Maybe I'll just bring the first page and just glue it back in when I come back home, you know?
Oh, geez. Come on. You driving, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. That's a good point.
What difference?
Back in the truck.
15 pounds. That ain't gonna change your gas mileage that much.
Well, it's gonna go in my backpack, you know. I don't know if we're getting Allison at the house. Maybe we get him at the house one night.
We might get Allison at the house.
Hey, Allison, come on over. We got some lobster tonight, you know.
There you go. I bet he would.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
He's a Louisiana guy. I bet he likes some good Louisiana cooking.
We could have Chris and his father kind of like bring him in with some of that Cajun food.
Yeah, I bet he'd come over.
Some béarnaise and all that. What do they call that? Some voodoo lobster?
I have no idea what they call it, but I call it good.
Yeah. Everything's got a lot of...
So for all of you listeners that don't know what we're talking about, every year at the HVAC Symposium in Florida, that's part of HVAC school, there's a group that gets together headed up by the third member of this show that's not here tonight, Chris Hughes, and they have this thing called the Animal House, and it's by invite only, so you got to get in and get invited. But yeah, it's a good blast, time. You stop by and visit maybe if you're at that event.
It's a blast.
Yeah, it's a fun house, and I actually haven't stayed there. This is going to be my first year staying there.
It's because you're always popping in, popping out.
I pop in and pop out, but me and Rachel have typically just done like an Airbnb or whatever elsewhere. And the freaking cord is bugging my neck. Dang on thing.
It does get a little loud at night, so if you're doing a presentation the next day, you want to get a quiet room. Dustin's usually up with me, and I think we had Adam. Adam was up we were up till 2 a.m. one night. It was just, we were kind of burning the wick at both ends.
Yeah.
But that's the fun part of it, I miss breakfast the next morning, whatever.
Yeah, I got to get up. I have to work when I go there, because TruTech's sponsoring, so I've got to show up and work.
Yeah, Chris too.
Yeah, and I got to present. I've got presentations and everything else like that. Yeah. So I'm not going to give too much away, but there's going to be a couple presentations, and there's going to be some good stuff.
Nice. We have a blast. Dude,
it sucks for you, huh?
Dude, I go to the event, right? And I'm still watching the videos that I missed, because you usually have three classes on at a time.
Yeah.
Per time slot.
Yeah.
3 days. 3 days the event is.
Yeah, I mean,
And
that's
yeah,
one thing I love about that is if you miss an event, right, it's
yeah,
all recorded. You can go back and watch it later. Or if you want to watch one again because you think you missed something or whatever while you were in there,
I
you
ran
want to
it.
hear
Yeah,
kind of want to hear that thought process again that the presenter's going for. It's all recorded. You get to go back and listen again. So
it's funny you mentioned that. I just watched Rick Sims condensation for like the third time, bro. It's
oh
like,
man, every time you watch that, it's like, oh yeah,
man,
something new.
yeah. And it's like 2-3 hours. I'm like, wait a minute. I gotta start listening better. But it's amazing how much you pull out of it, like even on the third time. It's and you also sometimes when he's saying something, you don't run into it in the field, so it doesn't really get in the memory as much. It's really nice that Brian Orr throws a lot of that on YouTube.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, I think he uploads maybe like 8 months to a year after. So
Yeah.
the people that go to the show have access to rewatch them within the first year.
Yeah. And then once that virtual ticket is up, then I think he starts uploading stuff onto the
Okay,
YouTube
that's
channel.
right.
Is what I've seen in the past.
Yeah. Yep.
Um,
And you can see Aka Ed there.
Steve, that is in when is it? February?
Yeah. What are we doing? I got it somewhere in my email here.
Oh, it's
I'll
right on the
save it.
website. Go to hvacrschool.com and look at the events. And it's
There it
the
is.
fifth annual symposium. It is oh yeah,
Few-
February 1st through the 3rd.
February 1st. Yeah.
1st through the 3rd this year. I think in-person tickets are sold out, but pretty sure you can still get virtual tickets for that.
Oh, we're sold out already. All right.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Come on. That's awesome.
Will Speed, what's going on, sir?
Who we got in the chat? I gotta move this camera angle out of here.
There you go. Yeah, we got a few people over there. House is in there. Will Speed just showed up. So, but yeah, that's going to be a good time down there for sure. It always is.
Every year, man. Every year. No drama. What's
Jennifer,
up, Jen?
good evening. Thanks for stopping by. So yeah, what else you been doing, man? It's slowing down.
Yeah,
You're gonna clean out your truck.
Oh, I can't wait, man. I don't even know what I have in there. It's ridiculous. It's so bad. And once in a while I'll do, I used to do plumbing, so I keep a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I ordered something. I'm like, man, I got that. It's just buried.
Can't find it.
Can't find nothing. Yeah. I wish I was a little bit more OCD like some people are, but I'll get to it. And yeah, man, what do I got coming up this week? I had nothing really exciting. I had a couple of jobs. What do I got? An install coming up, package unit. Yeah, nothing exciting there. Just basic equipment. I ran a call where a lady called me over the weekend a couple of weeks ago. It was just downpouring. She had a nephew in the family that did some HVAC, right? And I get there and everything's rewired, man. It was absolutely sorry about that. It was absolutely amazing. This kid just totally rewired the unit, and I had to just go to basic bare bones. I was like, all right, I'm going to rewire this. You've got no heat. You've got your fan running on all the time, but you got cooling. It was bad. It was melted wires. He kind of like, it was one of those where it was a friend of the family, they tried to get him cooling, but
yeah,
you know how it goes, man. So we got a new package unit ordered. I just checked up on an inverter system that I did. What happened there? I checked static, try to kind of like commission it. I got him a new filter. I did a 5-inch filter at the grill. Did like a cheesy filter buy.
Yeah.
Because I monitor some of my high-end equipment on that train, the online thing I was telling you guys about. And it'll give me email if the static is running a little high. So I went back and which is nice, if I'm working late on that job, I was working till like 7 at night. So I go, I'll just check it in the morning. and I'll run a full fan speed on it. If the customer's home and they can allow me to hit I'll override the thermostat. It's really cool. Like I do it from my office, and static was high, so order him a new filter, 5-inch filter. I think it was a 24 by 24. I was kind of shocked, to be honest with you. It's a 3-ton, 24 by 24 grill, and it was just on a stand. It was like big wooden box,
That's a nice size filter for a 3-ton.
Right? That's what I was thinking. I was like, I'm surprised the damn static was so high.
Yeah, you said that was a 1-inch or a 4-inch.
It was a 1-inch. I was like, you know what? Let me see how. Yeah.
Okay.
And it
Yeah,
depends.
maybe that's a little undersized, especially if they got a high MERV in there.
Yeah. And then what he did was, and now it's coming back to me. He closed like a major supply side grill on me.
Oh yeah.
That's what happened. That's what gave me the notification online. He closed a main. It was like a main artery to the system. It was the master bedroom, like a 4-way. And I was like, what's going on? Why'd you turn this grill? He's like, he keeps it a little higher at 79 degrees. So he's a older customer of mine. So he keeps it at 79. I was like, well, it's raising my static up, but I think it'll be all right. I think we're at a 0.7. So I'm happy. Yeah, I'll take it.
It's not too bad for some of the new blowers. They'll handle that much. Just depends on what the rating is on the air handler there.
0.5 and full variable speed, blower modulating.
Yeah, all right. Well, 0.7 ain't so great then. That's a good way to kill a blower motor.
Yeah, because 0.8 is like, I don't really like seeing it run under 0.8. So that's kind of like my personal.
That's kill all blower motors mode right there.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, when you're beyond that, because it's in I think it's in Manual D, right? There's directions in Manual D that say on the variable capacity or the constant airflow ECMs that they are supposed to run at 80% or less of rated static pressure.
80% or less. Okay.
Yeah. And the reason for that is because once you hit over that 80%, so like that would be 80% of 0.5. If your rated is 0.5, so you want to run at 80% of that 0.5 or less, because once you hit 80%, you're going to start using a crap ton more electricity.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
You're going to kill that blower motor faster.
Yeah. And it's a 3-ton modulating unit. So I would say most of the day I'm running at like, golly, man, I'm down to a third with that thing. But it does ramp up for oil return. I mean, he sets at 79. The thing doesn't run.
The compressor ramps up, but does the blower ramp up with it for that oil return?
It does. Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know why. It does. So I mean, it's very brief. It's like 5 minutes. That's what I'm like, why is there a spike? It's just like a big spike in the graph. So yeah, oil return. But yeah, I mean, usually these modulate, it depends on who's running these darn things, man. Like that one customer I was telling you about a couple of weeks ago, man. I mean, that guy beats the crap out of it. He keeps it at 72 all day, 70 at night. And it's running full speed, right? So it's like I just got a single speed compressor kind of.
I'm freezing just thinking about that.
I know, right? Dude, the humidity, I got them at like 45%, bro. It's like, it's just mental. That's my opinion. That's what I've come up with.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if I told you, I might have brought this up a while back. I got a good friend of mine. He's a polar bear. And, he, that's what he calls himself. He likes to set it. I mean, he was like a linebacker for like Ohio State. So
he's a big guy.
He's a big dude, right? So I'm like, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you the nicest unit I got. All right. I'm going to get the humidity down where your hair is going to be like just frizzing, right? I'm going to get it down to like 35%. You're going to sweat.
That's not frizz time.
Right. It's going to, you're going to be fine, right? No, I was wrong. I thought I was going to get them. I got the humidity down to like around 40, and we're talking Florida, man. You know what I mean?
That's pretty good.
It's big for me. I'm
Yeah.
like 80% relative humidity at night over here. So anyway, I was like, I'm going to get them. Nope. He cranks it down to 68 at night. I'm like, what are you doing? It's just, I think, you know what? I'm right. It's just mental. If I would have just put, like you said, we need to have thermostats where it's good.
So let
It's bad,
me ask
it's like, it's
you a
warm, it's hot.
question at that. Have you gone into that house? You're saying this guy's a friend of yours, so you might be able
Yeah.
to do this and play around with this as an experiment. If he's turning it down to 68 at night to be able to sleep, is that what I'm hearing you saying?
No.
Or no, he just likes
I
it
think he
68
just
all the
turns
time?
it to 68 for the brain. It's
Okay.
a brain temp. But go ahead.
Where's
I'm sorry.
2-story house, single story house?
Single story, 1800.
Okay.
1800 on the butt,
Go over there sometime. Take your thermal camera. Run a thermal camera around that house while the AC is running. See what kind of average temperature you're getting on your surfaces in there.
Mhm.
You may have a radiant heat issue.
Oh, I might have like a hot master bedroom, you think?
Well, if the ceiling is hot in that master bedroom, like I can play around with this in my own house, and I've played with this in my own house.
Yeah.
The air temperature is pretty even between two rooms.
Yeah, it's good in the house. It's beautiful. Yeah.
But because in one room versus another room, I don't have good air flow
circulation?
across the ceiling.
Okay.
I'm not cooling the surface of that ceiling down. All right. And I get a lot of radiant heat coming in there, which doesn't raise the air temperature per se, but
Right.
it makes me feel hot.
You might be onto something, man, because he's my friend. So I treated it, I guess less like a client. I probably would have probably would have offered more testing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so
Screwed
what,
yourself on that one.
and yeah, it's
You can do it however you want, but I would just, hey, I'm learning here, I want to come over and experiment. I want to see what your house is doing, and start using that thermal camera. Start comparing the temperature of the inside walls to the ceiling and to the outside walls, and because a thermal camera works really good as a comparative.
Yeah.
Thing.
I got
So
the FLIR. Forget which one I got, but yeah, I had one of the AC guys on YouTube. He was recommending a new one. What was it here? It was I thought I grabbed a screenshot of it, but I did not. I put it on my Amazon. That's what I did. Son of a gun. It was some no-name brand that I never heard before, but he said it was really good. Let me see if I can find it. But yeah, dude, that
I see how it is.
Oh, there it is. Infiray.
I see how it is.
P2 Pro.
Yeah. All right. I see how it is.
Let's see here. What do you think? You ever hear of this?
Nope.
I'm not saying I'm gonna get it. I'm just peeking.
Okay.
I get all my tools at the Triple T. Come on now.
I see how it is.
When am I gonna get a discount code for here? That's what I want to know. Hook me up. So
now I got a funny story.
I think you're right, man. I mean, dude, I've been throughout that whole attic. We did insulation before we did the unit. Like I said, it's a good friend of mine. We did his insulation in his house, and then we did mine. He helped me do my house, all blown insulation, and wound up doing a duct tightness test there, and it was pretty bad. I think it was like 150 CFM.
Whoa! Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, so I wound up going up in that attic. I think it was close to summer, and we tightened up some ducts. So, but yeah, so it's probably making that house a negative.
Yeah. So last night wife and I went out to dinner and a show for our anniversary.
Happy anniversary again.
Thanks. I appreciate that. So we're sitting in this show, right? And it's a candlelight with a string quartet playing Halloween themed music. Okay. Good show, pretty neat. Only about an hour, not real long. It was just a nice little show to go to after dinner.
Yep.
Great for anniversary, right? So I don't know, and we're probably maybe 10 minutes into this show. And it's in an old church. It's a church converted into like an events venue now. So we're in the old sanctuary, big old huge, I mean, beautiful wooden ceilings, all this really nice architecture and everything in there. Both of us are looking at this because, we both appreciate really cool architecture and stuff.
Nice.
And we're sitting in there, and I had kind of looked up, and like over each side of the stage, right? There's 2 doors on each side down below where people could walk in and out from backstage. And then above that, there's a return grill, right? On each side, same thing. And then above those are these supply grills that are, shooting out over the whole room. I'm like, all right, that's pretty typical for a lot of old churches that weren't designed, at least in my part of the country, that weren't designed with heating or air conditioning in mind.
Right.
And they may have had heating, like hydronic heating, like steam or hot water at some point. And then later on, they put in these air conditioned, forced air systems where they had to put them in where they could get them in. And a lot of times you can't bring them in through the ceiling. You can't bring them in through the floor, whatever, because of the architecture. Or if you do, it becomes just prohibitively expensive and you tear the heck out of the building. So a lot of them, they bring them in right from the front, blow it out over the audience, let it settle down because typically people aren't in there for very long. So we're sitting there 10, 15 minutes into the show. And I hear the blower motors start winding up.
Squeak?
No squeak.
Oh, no initial.
But it was like
I love that noise.
It was like a jet engine turning on, just like. And Rachel and I just turn and look at each other, and I mean, I'm just like, oh,
the couple next to you. The couple next to you lost his wig. The wife lost a hat.
No, because it was probably 20 feet up in the air where these things are shooting out. They're not blowing at the audience. At least they didn't have that going on. Like I didn't have to go all Angry Ed on them and be like, stop blowing air on my head.
Ack ahead. This is like when you blow air on people.
Yeah, don't blow air on Ed's head.
That's
he doesn't like it. But so, but I'm listening to this thing throughout the whole show, and then it would turn off, and like the blower would ramp down, and then it'd come back on. It's like, like that's what I need, white noise in the middle of the show. I'm going, come on, guys, can't we do better than this?
Oh man,
design your stuff. Think about this. This is better.
It's crazy, man.
It was a great venue, and everything about it was great except for that one little piece of noise.
Yeah.
And I really just wanted to walk up to him afterwards and be like, look, can I just come in and redesign this for you? Can I help you out with this? Because this is driving me nuts.
I'll even do a little bit pro bono here.
I've been here one time and it already drove me nuts.
It's crazy, man. It is wild out there. A lot of people think we're nuts when we go to restaurants because we're always looking up. Always looking at the ductwork. No, I'm interested in your conversation, but I may look up at the ductwork just a little bit too much often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look up at the ceiling, see how many drips are coming out around the registers.
Right? Especially when we go out for dinner in Orlando, man. Oh my goodness.
I bet there's no sweaty ducks down there.
Ooh, nothing. Nope. Super dry. Yeah,
Sweaty duck.
But yeah, it's pretty funny stuff, man. It's every commercial place is like another interesting character you meet out on the street. Some of them are a little crazier than others.
Yeah, I just that just drives me nuts. Like anytime, especially in a any place you're doing a performance, man, make that stuff quiet. In a restaurant, man, make that stuff quiet because then people just talk louder and the whole place just volume goes up exponentially.
So the boss isn't gonna. He's gonna make it next week, and you're gonna be out.
I don't know what the boss is doing next week. I'm out next week though. I can promise you.
You're out.
I'm out.
Wow. We're just gonna stick with the 2-man crew. Shift it off.
just shift it off.
That's
It's the Mike and whoever decides
Yeah,
to show up.
whoever decides to show up. I'm gonna rename this Coffee Talk on the Grapevine.
Coffee Talk on the Grapevine.
That's right. Just bring a mug. And yeah, man, it's I can't wait to get to the symposium, man. I really can't.
Yeah, it's coming up before you know it.
It's been a tough summer.
Jeez, that's what 3 months away now.
These summers aren't getting any easier.
We're just talking with Ty about that last weekend when he was here, man. He spent the summer working in attics down in Texas.
Yeah.
And he was like, I remember when I used to be able to jump up there and do that really easily. He's like, either I'm getting colder or those attics are getting, or he's getting older or those attics are getting hotter. I don't know.
It's like both. They're getting hotter and we're getting older.
Could be.
Yeah, man.
All right, man.
It's crazy.
Well, you know what? Good night, everybody.
Later, guys.